Hey, what's happening, everybody? Deuce here with 98 Rock. And of course, we are hanging out. As you can see, we've got Mr. Eric with us from Prevail. And Eric, what is up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, we were just talking, you and I, and just, I'm working from home. I'm sure you're doing a lot of working from home as well.
Likewise.
Yeah, just kind of dealing with all this. How have you been dealing with all this and kind of working from home and doing what you've been doing?
It's been different, you know. We were in the middle of a tour and we had like 3 other tours lined up across, Australia, Europe, and the States. So it's like we got ripped out of that, and feels like, as well as everyone else, I'm sure, it feels like you're, just incomplete, So coming home, trying to find things to do. I'm moved to my grandparents' old place a few years ago, so I finally am home to do some renovations, like this bar thing I just built back here. But like summer's like usually when we are touring the most, so it's been nice to be able to be home. And me and my dad grew a garden out back. Just doing stuff.
I saw your garden. I saw your garden on Twitter. You were you were picking like peppers or something and making something in the oven, man.
I made stuffed banana peppers with
nice.
hot sauce. Yeah. But that's so it's like finding things to do like that on the home front has been very therapeutic, for lack of a better word. It's been fun having something to put your hands on, work with. But we've been meeting up the band, so we all live within like 30 minutes of each other. So we met up a handful of times, just worked on some songs and demoed some stuff out. So we're staying busy for the most part.
Right now, you guys are all in Michigan.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Well, now speaking of music, you guys just released a new video, DOA. Dead on Arrival, which is a great video, great song.
Thank you.
And then now on that song, because you guys also feature Joyner Lucas, is he because there's 2 raps on there, but they don't sound the same. There's somebody else rapping on there.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing the first part of the first rapping.
So on the original track on the album, that's me rapping all the parts. But on the featured one, the remix, we have Joyner does the first one, then Brian sings the chorus, and then it's me.
Well, because I think it's you. You've got a. I don't know if anybody's ever told you. You sound like kind of like your voice. I was like, is that Macklemore for a second?
No, I haven't heard that, but I love it.
So very cool. Now, let me ask you this about DOA, because you guys' last album, Trauma, which was back in 2019, is this part of a new album that we could start looking forward to potentially, or?
No, it was just something fun that we wanted to do. we've had a couple demos that didn't make the record, Trauma, that just didn't feel that they were they fit together, Right. And what's funny is we had a demo that we were like, there's something there, but we just we don't have the time to really massage it, put the tender love that it needs to fit Trauma. But Elenium and Excision took that song and made Feel Something. I don't know if you've heard that. There's an EDM song we did a collab with. It was just demo that we didn't feel fit Trauma, and they took it, put some magic on it. Kind of same thing. We had a bunch of stuff like that, but with DOA, there's a clip that's funny. Our camera guy's got our boy Kurt of a clip during Trauma when we were writing the record, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And Brian and I were talking about like how cool it'd be to have some different features on the record. And we're just shooting the shit. We're like, man, it'd be sick to have this guy or this guy. Joyner Lucas would be sick. And a year later, it came to fruition. We just had some connection, reached out to him. He called us. We had a FaceTime to chat about what ideal a music video could be, and then he wrote his part, and it came together. So it's sick. I'm so thrilled about it. But no, it's not anything on a new record. That's we're working on doing a live record, and I'm working on putting some kind of cool vinyl thing together, and maybe have some like demos or B-sides on that. But no, with the new record, we just started doing some demos, and it's gonna be a little ways till we get some more music done. But I'm really excited to finally get back in the studio and write.
So now, speaking of the album Trauma, that earned you guys 2 Grammy nominations.
Yeah.
Which did you guys go out? Did you go to the Grammys? Because
we did.
How was that, man? That has to be. I mean, this is the first time I talked to you, but I'm originally from Indiana, so I'm a Midwest boy.
Hell yeah.
I'm from Indianapolis originally. So, all of a sudden, there you are at the Grammys. It's got to be kind of surreal.
It was crazy, man. Like growing up, I've only seen the Grammys like 2 or 3 times, and when I say it, I like all music. I love, I even like a little bit of country, but I'm a metalhead, man. I grew up listening to metal and just rocking metal, just get the short end of the stick on that all the time. So I never really watched much of it. And then we went out there and to see what it was actually like. It's parts of what I like. I kind of expected things to be that way. Some things I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. But a lot of it was like, all right, a lot of waiting, a lot of sitting around. All right, cool. They rushed through like 70 different awards, and then they're like, all right, now we got to cross over to the Staples Center, and we're gonna give the last 5 awards, which are the televised ones. So in an hour and a half, they crushed like 70 awards and like 6 performances, and then they're like, all right, we're going over to the Staples Center. Here's gonna be like the 5 big ones, the ones that really matter. Right. So it was, it was an experience. If we have the luck and opportunity to go back, I think we will do it. We just might not bring all the girlfriends and wives, and might just get in there, get out.
Now, were there other artists there, or were you just like in a room alone?
Oh no, it was packed. There was a lot of like looking around. No one so when you go there, like everyone, the rock categories and the hip hop categories and all that, they're all in this amphitheater, this auditorium, and move on to the Staples Center. General admission, I think it's like the upper nosebleeds. Then we're all sitting in the lower ring, and then the floor is like the superstars. So there's a little bit of a class gap between there, but we're sitting down the row from Kill Switch Engage. A couple rows down were the dudes from Tool. So it's like, oh shit, oh man, what's up? But no, we were kept way away from the nice classy people, the mean rock people.
Now you were just talking about once again, we are speaking with Eric from Prevail, and if you haven't checked out the new song and the new video DOA, definitely can. Which, by the way, I just saw someone ask the question, what's DOA stand for? That's Dead on Arrival. You were mentioning vinyl, some cool vinyl ideas, and I saw a post that you had on Twitter because I collect vinyl. I have a massive vinyl collection.
Oh hell yeah, man!
And I saw that you collect vinyl as well.
Yeah.
What is your pride and joy? Your one vinyl pride and joy? Maybe not the most expensive or the most.
Yeah.
What's the one that like you're in that mood and that's going on and you're playing it?
I have so I got the wall, like my top, like my grails up there. Slipknot Iowa is right in the middle. Took a while to find an original copy of that, but I got that sitting up on the wall, and every now and then I'll play that. That's just, it's too pretty to play. I just sit up there and I'm like, oh my god. But I'd have to say my Iowa record I'm pretty proud of.
I tell you what, it never ceases to amaze me how many people love Slipknot. I mean, I know everybody loves Slipknot, but I love when I talk to other musicians. I was just talking to Gavin Rossdale from Bush.
Oh man, I love him.
And he was talking about how during the quarantine, he's been jamming out to Slipknot, which I don't know, kind of blew my mind because I'm like, I would have never expected Gavin to, but he loved jamming out to Slipknot, man. So
I'll tell you, obviously I don't know Gavin personally, but one of our crew guys worked on live their crew, and I took my mom to go see Our Lady Peace live in Bush.
Yeah, I got that show. It's a great show.
Yeah, oh my God. I've never seen any of them. And Bush blew my freaking mind. Like, he is an incredible vocalist. And he ran from the stage all the way up to the grass up there and ran all the way down. Didn't miss a beat, lose his breath. That man, I much respect to him. He's an incredible musician. I've been listening to a lot of Bush after that show. I was like, damn, even their new stuff's so good. Anyways, but yeah, Slipknot. That was like one of the first metal bands. Like my dad was like into Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and Queen and stuff like that. So I was like, didn't really get that metal until it's like one of the first metal records. Someone gave me a burned copy of Ride the Lightning, and just recently I've been listening to that again. It's just such a great record. But once I got into I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's an amazing, amazing album.
Oh, so good. So good. But I get into like, I think it was like, I saw a music video for Slipknot. Maybe it was Vermilion or something like that. And it was a little bit before that. I heard of Slipknot, heard a couple songs, but it was like, I heard stuff off Iowa that really blew me out, like Left Behind. And oh man, just I love it. And that really got me into like, oh wow, I like this weirder, heavier, darker stuff. And I just rabbit hole. I've been lost ever since, lost in the sauce ever since.
Right. I still have some of my original vinyl that I bought when I'm much older than you. We don't need to go into details how old I am, but I still have when I bought my original Ride the Lightning one. Master of Puppets with Metallica is another great one that I highly suggest you get.
Yeah. I'm so jealous. I've been trying to look up copies for myself, like an older original, first repress. And man, I've been even looking at cassette tapes. I'm like, I got to get some Metallica tapes, man.
Yeah, that's back in the day. Now,
yeah.
Cassette tapes. I used to have a bunch of cassette tapes. I always had one cassette tape that I would always give to a girl when I messed up. To be like, I'm sorry, cassette tape. And then they'd always have the other girl's name scratched out with a Sharpie, and then her new name would be on there. And then her name because I'm like 12 years old. I didn't have a job. I can't afford to.
Love it.
Once again, we are chatting with Eric from I Prevail. So let me ask you this. Are you guys maybe planning on doing any kind of like live digital performances? Like, have you guys talked about, because obviously right now a lot of shows aren't happening, touring's not happening. And I'm starting to notice some bands are starting to kind of maybe talk about what they can do maybe with their fans and things of that nature. So I don't know what's up with the I Prevail.
Well, we've been working on, like, just since we've been home and having we have Every Time We Leave going to radio, and then DOA that's been being played. So we've been home just pushing, starting to do behind the scenes stuff with all the radio stuff. But I was just actually at the studio, or not the studio, our practice unit. Funny story. We still practice there. It's been years, and whenever we're practicing, there's drums going on, and we have in-ears. So if you're driving by or walking by, all you hear is drums, and then kind of faint yelling. But today we were recording some stuff for different stations, and I was recording my scream vocals, and it was nothing, just me screaming. And after, I did 2 takes all the way through the song, and then we moved over, and this is where we were talking about doing some live stuff or some, filming some stuff. So we went to the next unit over, which we have, and me and Steve, our guitarist, were moving stuff around and clearing it out. And one of our crew guys was outside and talking pretty sternly, it sounded like, to someone else, and we all got stopped and got quiet and put our ear up to the door. And oh no, we're good, officer, thank you. I was like, what? So he comes in, he goes, yeah, some lady got scared and started screaming for the cops, and someone called the cops. She heard me screaming, so she thought someone was getting murdered. So she started yelling. She ran from her unit screaming. Someone called the cops. The cops got called. Cops come up with, hand on the hip, waiting to see if they got some torturing some people in the storage unit. They're like, no, we're in a band. It's this band. We're just recording some stuff. It's like a studio. And the guy's like, well, you need to tell management. And we're like, we've been here for 2.5 years. Management knows we're here. But so I got the cops called on me today for screaming.
Right.
But the whole point of that story is that we were just talking about today cleaning out one of our units and really setting it up to look nice so we can start doing potentially stuff like that, because it's been something on our radar that fans, we've seen other bands do that's doing well. Fans want us to do it. We want to do it. We just don't really have a space set up yet, so we're working on it.
Very cool. Now speaking of screaming and you singing, and again, we're talking with Eric from I Prevail. You've got you and you've got Brian. How do you guys decide? Because you're starting to do more singing too than just screaming like you did kind of in the earlier days. How do you guys go about deciding, okay, Brian's going to do this and Eric's going to do this part? And, do you guys ever have like a, man, I want that part?
Honestly, when we're writing the songs, like 9 times out of 10, we're like, yeah, it's going to be this. Or I already picture an awesome, like a melody over it. And we just all start, working on melodies, and, or it'll be like, oh, obviously this is going to be something heavy. Then it gets down to like the little things like, okay, this is the melody. Well, how about you take this line, or you harmonize with me on this, or like the scream, and like there's just gonna be a heavy part. And what if I was like, well, what if Brian just sings this line and interjects this? So that's like usually where the nitpicking stuff goes and like the tweaking. But for the most part, it's always like, man, if it's a good part, everyone just knows. Like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, you're like, it's gonna be this, and it's gonna be da 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 or da 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 or start humming melodies over. So it's kind of just works itself out, So that's always a good thing.
Now, as you guys have toured before touring came to an end, because I've been watching you guys since your first album, and I mean, you guys have just kind of been you just keep getting bigger and bigger, and your crowds are getting larger and larger. You're getting more headlining spots at major festivals and stuff. What was that like that first time? Because I've seen some of your guys' picture stuff. That first time you kind of walk out, all of a sudden it's not 100 people. Now it's 25,000 people. Now it's 50,000 people. I mean, because you guys always look like you're having just an absolute blast with it all.
I couldn't have had. We can't have better jobs than we have. This is
Right.
It's amazing. We're so extremely lucky. And if this is all simulation, which it might be, thank you, Elon Musk, for blessing me. But it's crazy. I wish I could say that it was this definitive moment, but I think that's just how lucky we are. We don't get that moment. It's been like just growing, and then it'll be like 2 tours into it. 2 tours later, it's like 5th show in, and one of us will be like, "Damn, do you realize like how many people are out there? Like 2 years ago, there was like 500 kids out there. Now we're playing 1,800 kids." And then a year later, we come back and it's grown, by another 100 or 200. Or we'll play a venue that, like, we're out in Denver and we got good friends at the station out there, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you at this, venue next year." And we're like, "Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be, fingers crossed, that'd be cool." And we skipped that one and played Red Rocks. It's like, right. Holy shit! Like. So it's just every now and then one of us in the band will have a moment and be like, "Man, can we just stop and look how crazy this is." And so we don't have those one moment or that one moment. It's always been like every couple of weeks one of us stops and is like, just everyone slow down, take a deep breath, and realize like how fucking lucky we are right now.
Right.
So.
How was Red Rock? Because I've never been there. Is it everything that you think it's going to be?
1,000%. So we had a week off in between tours years ago. This is, I think, our 3rd tour. And a couple of us stayed out in Colorado. And one of the promoters out there became good friends with. He's like, "I got a show booked. It's sold out, 10,000 people, Head in the Heart. And Tallest Man on Earth, I think it's called. I'm not familiar. They're, like, okay. So he's like, I got like a block of tickets for myself. I'm taking you. So we went. We sat like 10 rows up, saw the show, and then like we got to go up all the way up at the top seats. And there was a thunderstorm like 30 miles away that you could barely see, and just got to walk around the venue a little bit while the show was going on. Just really feel it. And we're like, wow, this is amazing. There's certain venues that just have this magic or this like uniqueness to it, and obviously that's one of them. And so he was like, "Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get a tour through, and we're gonna work it out so that you guys have a day off, and I'm gonna throw you on. You get to open whatever show it's gonna be." And we're like, "Dude, that'd be sick." A year later, we get to headline there. A year later, after having that conversation, so it was just like I'm saying, like there's not one of those moments where it just stops and we're like, "Oh wow, this is cool." It's like it was like a week before Red Rocks. Like, do you realize like a year ago we were talking about like how someone was going to try and put us on. We're like, yeah, maybe one day. And we're headlining it. Like, what? So, but walking out there and playing it, it was amazing. That's still our biggest headliner to date. I think it was close to 5. It was like 4,000 people. And the only thing I don't like playing about Colorado is I lose my breath all the time because of the elevation. Right. It's so hard to run around and headbang and all that. So I respect all these Colorado or musicians that are out in the mountains there that just rip every time. But man, my fat ass gets out there. I'm like,
well,
this is first song. God damn, we got 12 more.
You chose one of the hardest genres of music to do as a profession. I mean, metal is a constant 2-hour on-stage workout, man.
Yeah.
And then you're the screamer.
Push.
There you go. Once again, we are chatting with Eric from Prevail. And again, be sure to check out the new video, DOA. The song is awesome. I know you got to get out of here. I know you got other things to do. Let you get back to decorating your place, improving your home. Real quick, if you can, maybe spit out real quick where people can find you guys on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. It took me a while to find you on Twitter because I don't know what the dick thing's about.
Oh, My real name's Richard. So
is it? What is that?
Eric's just a nickname. And growing up in school, kids used to make fun of me and call me Dick, and now I just fucking own it. So, but y'all can find the band at iPrevail Band, at iPrevail or iPrevail Band, YouTube, same thing. Dylan and I have been streaming a lot on Twitch, so you can find Dick Van Berg on Twitch, or you can find Dylan Bowman. Instead of an L, it's a number 1. So Dylan Bowman with a number 1. But we're on there all the time, hanging out and talking to people. So come out and hang out. Check us out on our socials and hang out with us on Twitch.
Cool, man. Eric, thank you so much for your time, or Richard, as maybe I should say.
Dick or Eric's fine.
Dick or Eric. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's been an absolute blast, and you've been a real great person to talk to. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me. It's been fun. Love to do
No
this
problem.
Again.
Have a great day, man. Enjoy.
Yeah, you too. Everyone take care. Stay safe. Much love.
Much love.